In response to a need for alignment around intervention services in the district, the focus of our year-long professional development plan is a district-wide kindergarten through 5th grade implementation of a systematic tiered response to intervention in the area of reading. The district literacy coaches developed an implementation plan for intervention alignment, along with documents to support this work. Principals approved the plan and the supporting documents. The literacy coaches have been tasked with implementing the first year of this plan. By the end of the year, the following milestones will be achieved.
Milestone 1. Intervention will be provided to all students with a demonstrated need according to common entrance and exit criteria. And we've developed entrance and exit criteria for every grade, K through 5, and the criteria changes for fall, winter, and spring. There has not been a consistent criteria for students entering and exiting intervention services across the district in order to meet our equity promise, and we must serve students based on need, not staffing. Currently, students are being over-identified and served at our schools with students of higher socioeconomic status, while students at schools with disadvantaged population are being underserved. And the DMC gave us a recommendation, and they said, given the autonomy each school has around intervention plans, ensuring equity across the district can be a challenge. While the district does have a strong system of providing interventions in place, the criteria to provide interventions are inconsistent across schools. Students are assessed and assigned a level on a relative basis compared to their peers within the school. The implications are that often a student who may qualify for an intervention at one school in the district would not qualify at another school because that school's overall performance is lower. The same scenario occurs for high-performing students. At the higher-performing schools in the district, students who perform above grade level are treated as average or even below average learners given the high benchmarks set by their peers.
Milestone 2. Interventions will be provided to students according to tier recommendations. So that's according to the 3-tiered system. Tier 1, Tier 2, and Tier 3. This is based on the rationale that there has not been a consistent structure for intervention across the district.
The third milestone is that interventionists will use diagnostic assessments to determine specific needs of students and to guide instruction. Currently, diagnostic assessments may or may not be used depending on the skill of the intervention teacher or the requirements within the building or the resources available to them.
Milestone 4. Interventions will be provided by highly skilled teachers. The thing behind this is that no literacy professional development has been provided to intervention teachers in the district for the past 10 years.
And the last milestone is that students will be progress monitored to measure the impact of the intervention and to determine next steps for instruction. Currently, progress monitoring may or may not take place depending on the resources available within the building, the expertise of the intervention teacher, or the site level decisions. So, to make our case for intervention alignment, we looked at student data that we currently have of students being identified for intervention. And currently at one of our kindergarten centers, we have 48 students being served by the intervention teacher. And if we apply the new exit and entrance criteria that we've created, we would actually only have 11 students eligible for service. And on the other side of the district, at the Pike Lake Kindergarten Center, there are 24 students being serviced currently, and they have over 70 students that actually are eligible. So on the west side of the district, our students are being underserved, and on the east side, we are overserving our students. This data was collected through our Read Well by 3rd grade measures, which is letter naming, letter sounds, nonsense words, and oral reading fluency, and sight words, and also by guided reading level. So, our year-long plan for professional development, our overarching objective is to implementing a district-wide kindergarten through 5th grade systematic tiered response to intervention in the area of reading. And to kick off our year-long professional development plan, we are meeting with principals for a 3-hour meeting to roll out all of the documents that we've created that kind of lay the foundation for our systematic tiered response to intervention. So we have a document that explains or that has all the research behind the intervention model we chose. It has, we've created a framework that shows the 3 tiers of intervention that Nicole just shared with you. It has the exit and entrance criteria. And we shared this with principals, gave them a chance to digest each document, to ask questions, to make sure that everyone had a common understanding of them, and then we were given their permission to go forward with professional development with the other stakeholders, with the teachers, classroom teachers, intervention teachers, special ed teachers. Also, after talking to the principals and the district level curriculum leaders, we shared this plan with the school board, and that is another one of our groups that we are providing professional development to, just to make them aware of our goals and some of the changes that are taking place in order for us to achieve our equity promise.
So with our first year of the implementation, our work will be with the intervention teachers. That will be our focus this year. And we'll start that off, we'll kick it off at the Summer Literacy Institute, where we'll have a whole day with the teachers, wherein we'll be able to share the documents that Mackenzie just discussed, and be able to train the intervention teachers around a tiered system response to intervention. That will also be the time where we share the resource that will guide our work, and that is the text Interventions That Work. That's by Linda Dorn and Carla Sofas. The reason that we chose this text was because it focused on a comprehensive intervention model. And so over the course of the rest of the school year, each TDAP day, the intervention teachers will come together with a literacy coach, and that will be an opportunity for them to study one of the interventions provided in the chapter. There's an intervention called Guided Reading Plus. There's a section that talks about using comprehensive assessments. So we'll take a TDAP day to learn about how to use those for progress monitoring and for diagnostic assessments. There's a chapter called Assisted Writing that's all about assisted writing interventions, and there's also a chapter on word study interventions. So each TDAP day will be devoted to getting to know one of those interventions and or assessments better, and then having opportunities to plan that with the support of the coach.
So after our Literacy Institute and giving the background and rationale to our intervention teachers, which are the teachers that we want to become our highly skilled teachers that are in charge of executing these interventions. Then we will have one TDAP day before school starts to kind of lay the groundwork that Nicole referred to. So in between each of those TDAP days, the intervention teachers will be able to meet as their own PLC, small group of teachers in a classroom, so more of an informal meeting. But those PLC meetings will be focused on the intervention that they previously learned about in the large group TDAP meeting. So once they learn about Guided Reading Plus, they'll come to their PLC meeting, and maybe they'll bring student work, or they'll bring examples of different effective strategies that they used. They may do their micro-teaching requirement, which means that they'll videotape themselves teaching, and another teacher will videotape themselves teaching the same objective, and then they'll be going through the micro-teaching protocol and discussing their work and their observations. So there's many different learning opportunities within the PLC. And literacy coaches will also be a part of that PLC. So they will be there to offer more insight or be able to help them work through some challenges that they face. And then also literacy coaches will be offering to model in the classrooms, to sub for teachers who would like to go observe another teacher, or even just have some one-on-one coaching. So those PLCs will be really important meetings in between the larger group TDAP meetings.
As we reach the end of our professional development plan, towards the end of the year, there'll be 2 opportunities to kind of reflect on the year and based on that reflection, make plans for next year. The final TDAP day of the year will actually be where principals and intervention teachers and the literacy coach at each school come together, and intervention teachers will have an opportunity to give feedback on the resource we used, on the documents we created, and on the professional development plan as a whole. And we'll use that feedback. First, they actually get to create what they want professional development plan for classroom teachers now that the intervention teachers have this new learning. Now they're going to come up with a plan for next year, how they're going to share that new learning over the course of the school year with classroom teachers. And then once they've come up with that plan, then the literacy coaches are going to meet, and that'll be our last meeting of our plan. And that'll be an opportunity for them to share out the work that happened at their school on that last TDAP day, share the plans that they have for their schools to continue, maintain, and enhance this work. And there'll also be an opportunity for them to examine how they've done at the district level in implementing this and planning next steps. What's it going to look like next year at the district level and supporting our schools, as well as celebrating that we've achieved the milestones that we hoped for. The last thing that I want to speak to, I had mentioned earlier, so our resource that we chose is Interventions That Work. It's from Linda Dorn. And as I mentioned, the reason that we chose this intervention was really because it takes a comprehensive approach rather than being an intervention just for a specific isolated skill. And a quote that really spoke to us was from Richard Allington, and he says, "We've known for 2 decades that when classroom reading lessons for struggling readers are meaning focused, struggling readers improve more than when lessons are skill focused. Nonetheless, skills focused instruction still dominates the lessons we offer struggling readers." So rather than being focused on isolated skills, it's really focused on making meaning and then learning different things that can help you make meaning. So we learn our phonics instructions so that we can make meaning of the text. And as I mentioned, each chapter goes through different interventions you could use, and it also makes the case for why comprehensive model is so important and how you can assess a comprehensive model.